Boom! Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage, Draft Guru. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Still the best beard on YouTube. I'm throwing out six. I said I was going to do this later, but I just wanted to just get it done with so I can watch more film later. Yay! I'm dropping you six guys, six players today. And so far, we're going to be at 315 prospects. So today's October 3rd at 11:40 hours, and we're at 315 players already. Show me any other dudes besides like the professionals that are at 315 on October the 3rd already. Like I said, we're going to have close to morning Cowboys blog. What's up? Good morning. I loved your show last night, the Frisco Report. You got to check out the Frisco Report. It's on either Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights with Joe Rod and Mike. Bro, these guys keep it real. There's nobody has ulterior motives. Nobody's pushing the Dallas gimmick. They're gonna if you guys are Dallas fans, check into the Frisco Report and also check in the Cowboys Corner and Talking Crazy Saturday nights, Cowboys Corner. These are two dudes and these are two shows that they're going to tell you like it is. They're not going to sugarcoat nothing. They're not going to just tell you the Jerry Jones narrative. They're not going to be like all these other Dallas Cowboy content creators that make me want to puke in a bucket, man, because these dudes all think they're going to work for Dallas someday. You can tell in this genre who has a real job and someone who's trying to do this as a job 24/7. But some people actually have jobs and they can say it like it is, and they're not afraid to say it like it is. So those are two, Cowboys blog and the Frisco Report. That's on either Tuesdays or Wednesday nights. And then Cowboys Corner is on Saturday nights, Talking Crazy. Those are two channels to check in and sub. So I'm going to give you a kid. This is a shame, bro. This kid got, and I have a saying with a shame, but I can't say it. This kid's a shame right here, man. This kid's name is Shannon Revel out of East Carolina, man. 6'3", 190, 3-year starter. Tore his ACL. He's a senior. He tore his ACL. Tore his ACL like the second game of the season. So now it's up in the air with this kid. Will the NCAA grant him another year of eligibility, or will he just rehab it all year and come out in the NFL draft? We don't know yet. But this kid is a shame because he was people that nobody was really talking about, but is supersized, very athletic, super athletic. And it sucks, man, when you get a kid who's a senior and tears his knee. And the NCAA is funny, man. It's sometimes they will grant you an extra year of eligibility, sometimes they won't. It's ironic, man. Miami, the U, they got a tight end, man. Don't ask me how. He's on like between his 7th and 9th year playing because he's had so many injuries. But he must have a hook somewhere, man, because this kid's like 28 years old. But he's a good blocker, and he's doing good. Next kid is wide receiver out of TCU, Savion Williams. Good size, too. 6'2", 6'5", this kid is. 6'5", 225. Listen, we all know how I feel about, some conferences, wide receivers. But I do like my wide receivers to be on the tall side. In a perfect world, I want my big, tall wide receiver that can leap. I want my small speedster. You can be tall and be a speedster. I just want you to stretch the field. Then I need another reliable slow guy with the greatest hands in the world. That's the reliable pass catcher. So when a quarterback gets in trouble, he can look at the tight end, then this kid's second. But this kid is 6'5", 225. He has 30 catches on the year with 3 touchdowns. He's a name to look out for just because his size like that doesn't come around every single day, especially at wide receivers. Ironically, though, probably the number 1 wide receiver drafted this year is going to be 6'5". And it's funny, the last few years we have been seeing bigger, much bigger wide receivers. The days of the Tavon Austins that are 5'8", those days are really gone. It's just like, I guess, genetics and generations. The kids just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Next kid is from Stanford, David Bailey. Some teams are going to look at him as an edge. Some teams are going to look at him as an outside linebacker, or you can look at him as a 3-4 outside linebacker. 6'3", 250. 3-year starter, and he has great size, good production on the field. He has 4 sacks already on the season. So he is a name to watch out for. He's not getting a lot of love, but you'd be surprised. Once in a blue moon, man, Stanford throws, you got to be a genius to get into the school. So right off the bat, the kid has a check mark by his name, so he's smart. Check 1, he's smart. And then you got to go. Then you go down the list. But if you're playing for Stanford, you're smart, so you don't got to worry about him learning the playbook and stuff like that. Next kid is ironically another Stanford player, Eric Ayomar, wide receiver, 6'2", 210. So far for the year, he has 21 catches and 2 touchdowns. Last year, in 2023, he had over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns last year. I see this kid more like I was saying earlier, a slower, good hands, possession wide receiver. Like, I don't see this kid stretching the field. He's my slow catch the ball guy. That's in my perfect world if I could pick 3 wide receiver for a 3 wide receiver set. He's more of a guy like that. Next kid is a cornerback from Virginia Tech, Mansor Delaney, 6'3", 220. This is just my personal opinion. When you start to see cornerbacks that are like 6'3", 6'4", they kind of look awkward, especially when they're trying to cover some of the smaller, faster wide receivers. Let's be honest. This kid has 11 tackles, 1 pass defense. This kid started off as a wide receiver. Let's time out a second. All DBs started off as wide receivers, and then they got told, yo, kid, you got hands of stone. And then you got put to defensive back. That's where all DBs started from. But when some defensive coordinators, Dan Quinn, I ain't going to say anything, liked his big corners. I really don't like. Once you start getting around 6'3", 6'4", I think these corners look really, really like awkward. A majority of them, not all of them, but a majority of them look awkward. They look like a stork, and they're not fluid, and and their hips are not loose, and they can get turned around very, very easily. That's just my 2 cents about when we start getting corners that are really, really tall. Next kid is from LSU, wide receiver, Kyren Lacy, 6'2", 220. This kid started his career at Louisiana Lafayette and then transferred to LSU. It's amazing that they have to put Lafayette after that. name after Louisiana just to be considered separate from LSU. 6'2", 220. This kid, even though LSU is not having the greatest year, the kid has 5 touchdowns for the season. And he'll be coming out in the NFL draft. And this is a kid to watch out for. He can be a sneaky day 3 guy. And in the last few years, LSU has put out some quality wide receivers. So this kid was at Louisiana Lafayette for a few years. Then he transferred to LSU last year. So this is his second year at LSU, and he's going to be coming out in the NFL draft. So I gave you 6 dudes today, and we're at 315, I believe. I'm getting so many, it's like, I don't even know. Yeah, we're at 315. We were at 309 earlier, and I just gave you 6. So we're at 315 so far today, October the 3rd. And my final rankings will be out before the Beast comes out, because I'm not a copy and paste champion. And we might get up to 700 players. I'd rather do more than less. Especially, I'm good at finding the gems, the late round gems that nobody talks about. And then later on, when we get closer to the draft, we're going to get talking about small school sleepers. Bro, if anyone's bored today, just go look at everyone's 32 teams, NFL practice squads, and look at the colleges that some of these kids played for. You never even heard of them. You'd be surprised how many small school college kids make it in the NFL. We all know when you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. Over and out, people.